So now we will see like a project workflow in Primavera. So first we will start with the EPS, Enterprise Project Structure, and later we will go for OBS, Organization Breakdown Structure, and immediately we must go for calendars. So in calendar, in the sense, we have three different calendars: global, project, and then resource. So global calendars, in the sense, we can able to use for anything. Project calendar, in the sense, only for a particular project or EPS. Resource, in the sense, only for the particular resource. So we have three kind of calendar, and then immediately we need to go for project codes. So this codes is not that much important, but it is important if you are working with the or dealing with the many projects. So this is for filtering and sorting purpose. And after codes, we must create a project. And after creating a project, we must create a work breakdown structure. So what are all the work we are going to consider in our project? And for each kind of work category, we have multiple activities. So immediately after that, we can just go for activity. And before activity, we can just go for budget and spending plan. So budget and then spending plan. So we can able to put the budget for each WBS elements, and that we can able to spread to the activities also. This is something called top-down estimation that we can able to create in WBS stage. So before activity creations. So and after activity, so before activity we also create activity codes. So like project codes, we must have activity codes also. So after activity, we can just modify activity types. So what are all the types of activity? Like we have start milestone, finish milestone, or I can just put here, and then task dependent, so resource dependent, so WBS summary, level of effort. These are all the 5 different activity types. Okay, then we can just go for constraints. So what are all the constraints we have? We have many constraints. For example, start constraints, finish constraints, then mandatory constraint, and we also have late constraints. So start constraints, we also have start on. So start constraint in the sense, start on constraint, start on or before, start on or after. So these are all the constraints we have in start constraint. We also have finish on, finish on or before, finish on or after. So mandatory constraints, we also have mandatory start, mandatory finish. We have 2 kinds of constraint in that. So what is in late constraint? We have as late as possible. So these are all the constraints we have, and also the types we also have. Then we can just go for relations. Relation in the sense, we have predecessor, so successor, and we also have 4 kind of relations. Relation types. So finish to start by default, and then finish to finish, and start to finish, and start to start. So this is like a rare. So other three we can able to use in our project. So by default finish to start relationship. So then we can just go for resources. So again, resource in the sense we have labor, non-labor, and then material kind of resource. So now we can just go for resource codes, and we can just go for roles in the sense, for example, you have a role as a project manager, but you have 4 to 5 people working as a project managers, so you can able to put accordingly. So for the 5 resource we can put a project management role that we have, and then we can just go for resource curves. So resource curves, we have a different kind of curve, but by default it is like a linear curve. So that's why the resources is evenly spread to our project. So we also have bell-shaped resource, front loaded, back loaded, like that you can able to input to your resource. So accordingly, like a project will take care of the scheduling. So then we can just go for scheduling. So scheduling, we can just go for shortcut is F9, that we know that. And after first schedule, we must go for baseline. This is important. So baseline. So after baseline, we can just go for update progress, and then apply actuals. Before update progress and apply actuals, we can just go for resource leveling also. So but after baseline. So I'm just going for resource leveling, and then update progress and apply actuals. So then we can just go for financial periods. We can able to create the financial periods for our project, and then we need to go for store period performance. So before update progress, we need to go for financial period also, and then update progress and apply actuals. Then we need to go for store period performance in between, so that all the data, so it will be stored in our financial periods. Then we can just go for analysis. So earned value analysis. So where only we can able to go for S curves, right? And we are dealing with what all the things, cost performance index and schedule performance index. If it is like less than 1, which means like we are out of cost. If it is like less than 1 for SPI, which means like we are out of schedule. If it is more than 1, we are within the budget and within the duration, within the timeline, within the time frame. So that is what earned value analysis. So after that, that's it. So we can just go for reports and customizing reports and everything. Then we can just go for visualizer, P6 visualizer, where you can just go for what all the things. You can just go for a time scale logic diagram, PSLD, schedule comparison, like that. Okay, so this visualizer is mainly for presentation purpose. So anything we missed? Yes, critical path. So critical path we have missed, that we can able to see, and before a baseline. After scheduling, we can just go for critical path, and after that, so we can just go for network diagram. So critical path in the sense where you can also go for floats. So after network diagram, before network diagram, we can just go for floats. We can just study free float and then total float, everything. So network diagram, we can just go before critical path also. So this is what the project workflow in Primavera. So we will start with the EPS, then we will complete with the reports. So this I'm just going to put the center, and I'm just putting bold. So these are all the types we have. So everything I have in this B column. So I think this kind of project workflow, if you are having, then this Primavera, it will be very easy for you to understand, and it is very easy for you to work with. So make use of this workflow for any kind of project, and you will be like a perfect project manager. For any kind of project, this is what the workflow, so you can start and end with. So make use of this video.